Namaste. Hi, little buddies. Hello to all of you right there. Welcome to your favorite yellow classes, general knowledge with Medha Ma'am. Welcome, my little buddies. How are you all doing? I hope everybody is doing what? Fabulous, rocking, super amazing. Yes, I'm sure you all are. That's great. I mean, that is what something, I always say, you people, you little friends of mine are always in my thought. I always keep praying that, hope all of you stay safe and everybody in your family, is blessed with good health. And obviously, you guys as well, you grow up rocking, amazing, and, become some super duper creatures, right? Superwoman, Wonder Man, I don't know what all, right? Of course, you can become teachers and doctors and astronauts and whatever you want to be in life, right? But then, of course, what is the most important thing is to be an amazing human being, right? Do you all agree? Show me a thumbs up. Yes, ma'am. All right. Okay. Whew. So, all my little birdies, what should we talk today? You must be thinking, Medha Ma'am is asking us, what should we talk today? Well, at times I think, yeah, we should have like I should ask you what should we do. But then maybe we will do it some other time because today I already have something in store for you. You know what? Okay. Now, kids, we all have heard about the world, haven't we? Yes, we've heard about our big earth. We've heard about our, lot of continents, countries, states, cities. Yes, we all have. But then, kids, there is something that, I was always curious when I was a child was that how do we, that earth is one big planet, and then these land masses, then they eventually, separated, they became continents. Now on the continents also there are so many countries. In the countries there are states. What could have been the possible demarcation? I mean, how would one know that, this is the line and here it is this and here it is this? I mean, truly, if you imagine, it's such a difficult concept, right? Do you all agree it is? Yes. But then, you know what? The people who study these, the world, the maps, etc., they decided that, what, there should be something, okay? Even the countries within themselves, something that, okay, there should be something which is called a border. Okay, so border means, so we all live in homes. Let's take a small example. We all live in homes, right? So this is my home and this is your home. Okay, so there is a wall in between. Okay, now that wall that we talk about forms the, let's say, the dividing line between A home and B home. So that we know that, okay, fine, whatever we are doing, we will do in our own space. And whatever the other group people are doing, they will do it in their own space. Similarly, kids, in between the countries also we have border lines. All right, now what are these border lines for? Majorly the border lines, kids, are for the fact that, they would know that, okay, fine, from here to here is our area, from here to here is our area. So, every country has their own way of planning things and executing things. So they don't want to interfere in the working of the another country, and similarly the other country don't want to interfere in the working of the other one. So that's the reason majorly, border lines help us to understand, okay, fine, this is the area which is for this particular country and this is the area for this particular country. Now, just to make things easier, okay, now some of these border lines, still exist. Some of the border lines were demarcated in the times of the tensions, like, world wars, etc. Some still exist, some don't exist, but then they still remain an important name in the history of the world. Okay, today, kids, we are going to look at some of the important border lines, right? We are going to see some important boundaries. We are going to see their names, and we are going to also see that, they are located, or they divide which two countries. So they are the dividing line between which two countries. Okay, hence it's going to be a super duper amazing session. As I said, some lines, we will be understanding the names, but they don't exist anymore. But then obviously they had their importance, so we will be talking about them. Is that okay? Everybody's ready to start? Show me a thumbs up. Yes, ma'am. Say yes, ma'am. All right, awesome. Okay, Whew. So now I am beginning our tour about knowing the list of the important boundaries. All right, kids, are you all ready? Okay, now we are going to start with the first one, supposedly a very famous one as well, and we will be talking about the Radcliffe line. Okay, now kids, Radcliffe line, I'm sure some of you might have even heard about it, is the line which is between India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan are neighboring countries, right? So this particular line called the Radcliffe line, it was demarcated by Sir Cyril Radcliffe. So it's the line is named after him. Okay. For the part when India was partitioned, so the partition of India happened. So there was East Pakistan, there was West Pakistan. Okay. Now this particular Radcliffe line, kids, today is it includes the India boundary with India. Then there is also Bangladesh, there's also Pakistan. If you can see in this image right here, if you see, there are these two lines out here. Okay, now these are Radcliffe lines. All right, kids, so Radcliffe line is between India and Pakistan. Okay, and it was demarcated by Sir Cyril Radcliffe for the partition of India and the formation of East and West Pakistan. Is that okay, everyone? Okay. Now, after Radcliffe line, the next one that we are going to have a look at is McMahon line. Okay. Now, McMahon line, kids, is between another neighboring country of India. So, in between India and China. All right. Now, it was drawn by Sir Henry McMahon in consultation with the Tibetan representatives in 1914. Okay. So, this demarcates the line, the border between India and China. Now we are able to understand why these borderlines are important, because otherwise it will be an overlapping thing. We will not be able to understand that, where, what is our extent, what is the other country's extent. So it's very difficult to, identify otherwise, right? Since I gave you an example of your neighborhood, I'm sure everybody will agree with this example, right? We all stay in our homes, we all stay in flats, or where we all stay in a society where we have our homes next to next, right? So do we, whenever we have to come back to our home, we only play in our premises, we eat in our premises, we just don't go and jump into our neighborhood and start doing things there. No, because there is a dividing line between the two homes, even when we live in the flats. Similar case is in the countries also, kids. All right, so it is for a convenient thing that these boundaries are set for the different countries. All right, do you all agree? Perfect. Okay, now the next one that we are talking about is Durand line. Okay, kids, now Durand line is between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Now, it was delimited by Sir Mortimer Durand with the agreement of the erstwhile Amir of Afghanistan in 1893. However, the present day Afghanistan does not recognize the Durand line. Right, kids? Now you're able to understand what I was saying, that, these lines were, when they came into existence, a lot of them probably they know the scenarios have changed for whatever reasons. Some countries don't recognize those lines anymore, or they don't exist. Okay, but then because they have their importance, and we know that in between which countries they form the borderline, hence we are knowing their names. All right, so Durand line between Pakistan and Afghanistan, but please remember that present day Afghanistan does not recognize the Durand line. All right, okay, now the next one we are doing, kids, is the Khunjerab Pass. Okay, now the Khunjerab Pass is between Pakistan and China. All right, now it is the only modern day border, kids, which is crossing between China and Pakistan, and it is accessed via the Karakoram Highway. All right, okay, so a very, very important name is Khunjerab Pass. Okay, Pakistan and China, the only modern day border crossing between China and Pakistan, and it is accessed through which highway? Karakoram Highway. All right, fabulous. Moving on to the next one, kids, we have a very interesting one is the Park Strait. Okay, now we all know that Park Strait is not really a land border. It's not a land border, kids. It's a stretch of, because when you talk about a strait, now strait is a stretch of, like, narrow stretch of water. Okay, which divides actually, so it here when you talk about the Park Strait, it separates the Tamil Nadu state of India and the Mannar district of Sri Lanka. Okay, so now if you can see this picture here, it's this space right in between, right here, is the Park Strait. All right, and it also connects the Bay of Bengal in the northeast with the Park Bay, and the Gulf of Mannar in the southwest. Okay, yes, so here we have Park Bay, here we have Gulf of Mannar, and then there is this Park Strait, which is this border forming. All right. So Park Strait is the borderline between India and Sri Lanka. Okay, fabulous. Now, heading on to the next one, kids, we have the 17th parallel. Okay. Now, these kids, when you see these names, by the number 17th parallel, 20 parallel, etc., they are basically the number of the latitudes. Okay. So, on that name, the name comes like 17th parallel. Now, this is a boundary line between South Vietnam and North Vietnam. All right. Now, 17th latitude from the equator. So equator is supposed to be this line which circles the earth. We see it as an imaginary line on the globe which divides the earth into two equal halves. Okay. Now 17th latitude from the equator divides the erstwhile North and South Vietnam. Okay. Now it was demarcated based on the 1954 Geneva Records. Okay. However, the 17th parallel became irrelevant after the unification of Vietnam in 1976. All right. So in 1976, Vietnam became one. Okay. It was unification of Vietnam. And this line, its relevance became irrelevant. But then it is an important name in the history. 17th parallel, South Vietnam and North Vietnam. All right. Okay. The next one, kids, that we are going to now talk about is 20th parallel. So we just saw 17th parallel. Yes, so it's a name of a latitude. Okay, and now we have 20th parallel. It's between Libya and Sudan. Okay, Libya and Sudan are two countries, and this particular line is located at the 20th northern latitude, which is used as the border between Sudan and Libya. All right, so it's a borderline which kind of make these two countries stand apart. So Libya and Sudan, 20th parallel. All right, amazing. The next one in the row, kids, will be, and yes, we will be doing 3-4 more, and then first round of the polls. Yes. Do you all want to do revision today? Because yeah, I know it's a little new for you all. So yes, we will do a quick revision as well. Okay. Now we are talking about 22nd parallel. So 17th parallel, 20th parallel. Now we are on 22nd parallel. Now 22nd parallels is 22nd latitude, kids, north of the equator. Now this marks a major portion of the Sudan-Egypt border. So it's a border between Egypt and Sudan. All right. Egypt and Sudan, 22nd parallel. Okay, north of the equator, border between Egypt and Sudan. All right. Okay. Now after the 22nd parallel, kids, we will have a look at the 25th parallel. See how we are moving in sequence. I'm almost able to, it's almost in my head. 17th, 20th, 22nd, and now 25th. Right. So now 25th parallel is between Mauritania and Mali. Okay. Now the northernmost section of the northernmost section of the Mali-Mauritania border is marked using this line, if you can see here, right here on the top. Okay. All right. So this is the 25th parallel. All right. Mauritania and Mali. All right, kids. All right. The next one in the row is 31st parallel. Okay. Now 31st parallel, kids, is an important boundary. It is between Iran and Iraq. Okay. 31st parallel, Iran and Iraq. The 31st northern latitude marks the border between Iran and Iraq. Okay. Yes. Perfect, everyone. Good going. Show me a thumbs up. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look at one more, and then we will do a quick revision, and then also the first round of our questions. And here we have again a very important boundary, which is 38th parallel, which is between South Korea and North Korea. However, the 38th parallel is used to demarcate the central part of the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. All right, kids, everybody will remember some of these lines are really, really important. 38th parallel is the boundary line between South Korea and North Korea. Yay, awesome. My goodness. Yes. See, kids, when we start doing these sessions, we realize that, oh my God, we have been literally missing on so many, important things, right? Yes, but then now we know it. Do you all agree? Yes? Woo! Okay, all right. Now, before we move ahead, okay? All right, kids. So now it's time for me to take you back for a quick revision. All right, because I know a lot of things were new for you, right? So everybody will keep their eyes and ears open. We'll do a quick revision of all the different important boundary lines we had a look at, and then of course our polls round. Yes, okay. So let's start, kids. The first one that we talked about was the Radcliffe line. It's between India and Pakistan, all right? And it was demarcated by Sir Cyril Radcliffe, all right? Now we have McMahon line and McMahon line, which is the boundary between China and India, all right? So this is the one. Then the next one, kids, is Durand line, which is the borderline between Pakistan and Afghanistan. However, present day Afghanistan does not recognize the Durand line. Okay. Then the next case is an important one, which is Khunjerab Pass, which is between Pakistan and China, the only modern day border crossing between China and Pakistan, accessed via the Karakoram Highway. Okay. Now, the next one is Park Strait. Park Strait is between India and Sri Lanka. All right. And this is a narrow stretch of water, which we just saw. And it separates the Tamil Nadu state of India and the Mannar district of Sri Lanka. All right. Now, talking about the next one in the row, kids, is 17th parallel. Now we start the number like parallel wise, right? It between South Vietnam and North Vietnam. However, it became irrelevant after the unification of Vietnam in 1976. All right. Yes. The next one in the row, kids, we talked about is 20th parallel, which is between Libya and Sudan. Okay. Now, it is located at the 20th northern latitude, forms the border between Sudan and Libya. All right. Now, upcoming next in the row that we talked about is the 22nd parallel, which is between Egypt and Sudan. Okay, north of the equator, major portion, it covers major portion of the Sudan-Egypt border. The next one in the row, kids, that we're talking about is 25th parallel, which is between Mauritania and Mali. Okay, and there's this northernmost section, which is, which acts as the border. After that, kids, the next one in the row that we talked about is 31st parallel, which is between Iran and Iraq. Okay, a very important one. Please remember this. And then the one we talked about last for this particular round, again, a very important one, 38th parallel between South Korea and North Korea. All right. Yes. Woohoo! Fabulous. All right. So with that, I have come to my super duper amazing first round of the questions for all of you. All right, kids. Yes. Are you all set? Ready? Ready to go? Okay, amazing. Now I'm going to ask you some quick questions. And since I've done the revision, I hope that it's all here in my kids' brain and everybody will be able to give me wonderful answers. You all know you will see a question, you'll see two options, and you have to choose and you have to give me the right answer. All right, and then Medha Ma'am will tell you if you're right or if you're wrong, but then that doesn't matter. We have to learn in the end, right? Okay, now, my first question to you all is, ready? Okay. My first question to you all is, Park Strait forms the border between which two countries? Park Strait forms the border between which two countries? Is it A, India and Sri Lanka, or is it B, India and Pakistan? Come on, tell me, come on, kids. Yes. Park Strait forms the border between which two countries? Is it A, India and Sri Lanka, or is it B, India and Pakistan? Think. India and Sri Lanka, India and Pakistan. Yes. Think. I can't give a hint in this because it's actually a logical one and simple one. So think. Yeah. Come on. Yes. Park Strait forms the border between which two countries? Last few seconds. You have to choose between India and Sri Lanka or India and Pakistan. All right. And it's time for us to see the answer. So yes, kids, Park Strait forms the border between which two countries? What have you chosen? Well, India and Sri Lanka is the right answer. Awesome. Good going. Brilliant start. Very, very good. Okay. Yes. So Park Strait is that narrow stretch of water which forms the boundary between India and Sri Lanka. All right. Okay. With that, it's time for me to head on to my next question. Okay. Okay, I'll just reframe the question. What is the name of the parallel which forms the border between Iraq and Iran? What is the name of the parallel which forms the border between Iraq and Iran? Listen to the options carefully. Is it A, 12 parallel, or is it B, 31st parallel? Think. I think the options should help you out. What is the name of the parallel which forms the border between Iraq and Iran? Is it 12th parallel or is it 31st parallel? Yes, come on, kids. Come on. Yes, halftime already gone. You have to name the parallel which forms the border between Iraq and Iran, and you have to choose between 12th parallel and 31st parallel. All right, quick. Good going. Last few seconds, everyone. Very good. All right, and time's up. Let's see what you all have marked. Okay, so you had to name the parallel which forms the border between Iraq and Iran. What have you chosen? Well, the correct answer, which a majority of you have given, is 31st parallel. Yes, 31st parallel is the border between Iraq and Iran. Amazing. Good going, guys. Fabulous. Okay, with that, I am heading on to my next question. Okay, my next question, everyone stay focused. And now I'm going to ask you my interesting math. Okay. McMahon line forms the border between India and dash. Okay, McMahon line forms the border between India and dash, and your options are: is it A, Afghanistan, or is it B, China? Come on, easy one, kids. Yes, McMahon line forms the border between India and dash. So you have to choose the country. Is it Afghanistan? Is it China? Quick. Yes, we have many more borders left to see, which we will be seeing after this question. So everyone, quickly, last few seconds left. McMahon line forms the border between India and which country? Afghanistan or China? Okay, and time's up, kids. All right, now it's time for us to see the answer, what you have chosen. So, is it Afghanistan, China? Well, the answer is McMahon line is the border between India and China. Right on. Bang on, kids. Very well attempted. That only just gives me a clear explanation that yes, whatever I'm teaching to you guys is going straight in your heads, and I'm absolutely proud of that. All right. All right, kids. So now after this question, it's time for us to head on to see some more important borderlines. Okay. And then of course, we will have our last round of the questions as well. Okay. So now let's see the next one, kids, is Hindenburg line, which is between Poland and Germany. Now, kids, this particular line was a German defensive line, okay, in the French territory. It was during the World War II, okay. However, it was, considered irrelevant by the Treaty of Versailles in 1919, okay. So I'm telling you the lines which had their importance, which were made, but then they now don't exist, or they have been considered irrelevant, okay. So we have Hindenburg line, which was between Poland and Germany. It was like a German defensive during the World War II. However, it was rendered irrelevant by the Treaty of Versailles in 1919. All right, kids. Okay. Now, the next one that now we are talking about, kids, is the 49th parallel. Again, a very important one, is between USA and Canada. All right. USA and Canada, the countries of the North American continent. All right. Now, it is located 49 degrees north of the equator. Okay. Now, this was demarcated after the Anglo-American Convention of 1818 and the Oregon Treaty of 1846. Okay. Now, this actually is an international border between the northern USA and, you can say, Canada. Right. So northern USA, which is, and the Canada, this is an international border, 49th parallel. Right, kids? Yes, a very important one. Okay. Now, with that, we move on to the next one, which is the Maginot Line. Okay. Now, this is between Germany and France. Again, it was, a defensive line once again, which was at the French border towards Germany, again in the World War II. Okay. However, this was rendered obsolete, rendered irrelevant following the successful invasion of the France by Germany after the outbreak of the World War II. Okay, so this was a line, Maginot Line, between Germany and France. All right, okay, amazing. Heading on to the next one, kids, we have the Mannerheim Line, which was between Russia and Finland. Okay, now, kids, Finland again, built this as a defensive line against the Soviet Union in the World War II. Okay, now this line was constructed in two phases. Okay, the first one was 1920 to 1924, and then 1932 to 1939. Okay, however, by 1939, when the Winter War began, the line was still not complete. All right, so Mannerheim Line between Russia and Finland. Okay. All right. We have now last few, lines left, border lines left, kids. So now we are talking about the Siegfried Line, which is between France and Germany. Now, this was built as an extension of the Hindenburg defensive line, which we just saw, on the Western Front by the Weimar Republic, and then later the Third Reich of Germany in the 1930s. All right. So it was like an extension between France and Germany, Siegfried Line. All right. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Talking next, kids, is an interesting one. And why it's interesting is the name. Okay. It's actually the 49th parallel, also known as the Medicine Line. Okay. Now, this inter-entity boundary line, which it's abbreviated as IEBL. Okay. Now that it subdivides the Bosnia and Herzegovina into two entities. Okay, which is Republic Srpska and the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. All right, kids. Okay. Now, the total length of this IEBL is almost 1,080 kilometers. Okay. So it's known as Medicine Line or 49th parallel. All right. And now, kids, we have, which is called the Oder-Neisse Line, which is Poland and Germany. The countries we are referring to here is Poland and Germany. Okay. Now, it's a border between the two. Now, this border, kids, this particular name that we are seeing, it's named after the two rivers that run along the line of the border, which is Oder and Neisse border. Okay. So there are two rivers which go. Now, this particular border, kids, recognizes the Polish-German border, according to the Potsdam Conference, okay, that happened. And it was acknowledged and recognized by unified Germany in 1990. All right. Okay. So Oder-Neisse Line, which is between Poland and Germany. Woo! And as I said, we have now come to an end of understanding and knowing these so many important boundary lines, Well done, kids. Good job. Give everyone, yourself, to Medha Ma'am a huge, huge, huge round of applause. Yes, you have done a wonderful job, and I'm super duper proud of you all. Well done, right? Amazing, kids. Okay. So now that we saw these important boundary lines, kids, okay, there's always been some reason that these lines come to an existence. As we saw, that during the World War II, many countries, formed these defensive lines to protect themselves, but then they later were, rendered irrelevant, right? Okay, but then it's important to know them because they have been an important part of the history of the world. Okay, kids? All right. Now we are going to have a quick revision so that we can move on and do our last round of the polls. So I am going to take you through the revision. Here we go. All right. Now, kids, the first one that we talked about was the Hindenburg, line between Poland and Germany, which was which was a German defensive line in the French territory during the World War II, and it was rendered irrelevant by the Treaty of Versailles. All right. The next one, kids, that we're talking about is 49th parallel, a very important one between the USA and Canada. All right. Amazing. The next one is the Maginot Line, Germany and France, and again it was rendered, obsolete. The reason it was made was it was a defensive line at the French border towards Germany before the World War II. Okay, so between Germany and France, it was. The next one in the row that we are talking about is Mannerheim Line, Russia and Finland. Okay, now Finland again, had built this, we know, as a defensive one, and it was constructed in two phases, but then it was not complete till the Winter War began. Right. The next one, kids, we talked about was Siegfried Line, France and Germany, and it was kind of an extension of the Hindenburg defensive line. All right, between France and Germany, and then of course we talked about the Medicine Line, which is the 49th parallel. It's also known as the IE, basically it's the inter-entity boundary line, IEBL. Okay. It subdivides the administrative line, Bosnia and Herzegovina. All right. Okay. Now the next one is Oder-Neisse Line, which is Poland and Germany. Okay. A very important one again, and it's named after the two rivers that run along the line of the border. All right, kids? Yes. And with that, we came to an end of the session. All right. Whew. And kids, now what do we need to do? Yes, Medha Ma'am now needs to ask some quick, closing questions. So I'm going to ask not many, few questions. You all need to stick to the screens and make sure that you scratch your brains, take out the right answer and give it to me. All right. So here I begin with my first one for this round, and an easy one. The 49th parallel is the borderline between which two countries? 49th parallel is the borderline between which two countries? Is it A, USA and Canada, or is it B, Germany and Italy? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Should be easy. As I always say, focus on the options. We're talking about 49th parallel. So the 49th parallel forms the borderline between which two countries? USA and Canada, or Germany and Italy? Half time already gone. Quick, quick, quick. Run, run, run. Mark your answer. Yes, very good going, everyone. 49th parallel is what we are asking. Okay. USA and Canada, or Germany and Italy? Last few seconds. Time is up. All right. Now let's see what is the correct answer, kids. We're talking about the 49th parallel. Is it a borderline between USA and Canada, or Germany and Italy? The answer is USA and Canada. Very good. Brilliant, brilliant attempt. Very, very good. Whew. All right. With that, it is time for me to ask you the next question. Okay. Now, the next question that I'm going to ask, kids, is this one. Which should I ask? Okay. Which parallel makes the borderline between North Korea and South Korea? Okay. Which parallel makes the borderline between North Korea and South Korea? Is it A, 38th parallel, or is it B, 10th parallel? Come on, kids. Easy one. Options, focus, and answer. Which parallel marks the borderline or the boundary between North Korea and South Korea? Is it 38th parallel or is it 10th parallel? Quickly mark your answers. Yes. I exercise in between, you see. All right, half time is gone already. We are heading towards the last few seconds. And I'm asking you which parallel makes the boundary line between North Korea and South Korea. You have to choose between 38th parallel and 10th parallel. 38th, 10th. It is the finale question, guys. Come on. All right, last few seconds. And time is up. All right, now let's see what you have marked, kids. I'm asking you which borderline, makes the boundary, which parallel makes the boundary between North Korea and South Korea. What have you chosen? 38th parallel, 10th parallel, 38, 10, 38, 10. You know what? 38th parallel is the right answer. Woohoo! We come to an end of this amazing session, kids. Give a huge round of applause for all of my little participants. Very, very well done. Amazing. I hope you all had real fun knowing about these lines, the important boundary lines between the countries. Yes, you did. Yes, awesome. Of course, I had a fabulous time. Really enjoyed doing it. And I always do, discussing all these different things with you all. And as I said, what's the main reason? Because of you all, I also, have become intelligent. I start learning things. I have to learn many more things because I have to tell my little fellows, right? Yes. Okay. Now, kids, yes. Now that we have come to an end of learning this session about the list of important boundaries, my next part is, you all know what it is. Yes, it is about the yellow class tip for the day. And I know, I'm really happy that whatever tip I share with you all, the best part is you all become my little mediators and you go and tell it out in the world that, you know what? We have learned this from Medha Ma'am. Medha Ma'am has told this to us, and you all should do it too, because it is for the betterment of everyone. Yes? Okay. Now, kids, my today's yellow class tip is something which is very, very simple. Very simple. And you know what? We just develop this habit just like that. We don't even realize we are doing something which is not good for our body, but then we do it. Is biting our nails. No. All right. Okay, so now when we bite our nails, there are these little germs which are inside our nails and they go into our stomach, and then they can cause stomach infection. They can cause diarrhea, because we don't know. We use our hands many places. Now, when we go out, we are traveling in the bus, in the metro, in the car, we touch so many things, and we don't have the habit of washing our hands every time. And then we suddenly put our hands in the mouth and we start biting the nails. So whatever the germs are there, they go inside. They can cause trouble in your little tummy. So not doing it anymore. Is that all right? Yes, sure, promise. Awesome, amazing. Kids, with that, we come to an end of this supra dupra informative session of Yellow Class General Knowledge with Medha Ma'am. Please do share all your works that you have learned in this session on the Yellow Class page of Instagram and Facebook. All right. And I hope you all are sharing your unique referral codes with your people around, asking them to join Medha Ma'am's class. Yeah, right. And so many other classes of Yellow Class. You can explore so many things which are inside you, all the talents. And then, of course, you can win the prize because you are sharing your unique referral code, right? Okay. So, kids, I promise to come back super soon. something new, something different, something unique, something super informative. All right, till then, you please take very good care of yourself, eat well, sleep well, stay healthy, keep running, and do a lot of physical activities, study as well. And I'll see you very soon. Lots of love to all of you. Bye.